like these random angles of my face. I think I have an interesting face. I guess it depends on how you look at a particular thing. It changes your perspective on everything. I realize that at church, like if I sit in the front or I sit in the back or I sit by the choir, I'm in the choir, so if I just stay over there during the service, it's just interesting, yeah. If I just move from here to there, I'm still in the same place. I'm still doing the same thing. I'm still watching the same dude get up there and talk. I mean, same with comedy too, like where you're sitting makes all the difference sometimes. Huh. Sorry, I'm in deep thought mode right now, okay? But it's good to get a different perspective, because I'm the type of person that I always just sit in the same place and be that boring ass motherfucker. But I don't always get the same thing when I order at a restaurant, though. Sometimes I switch it up. Like every once in a while, I switch it up. But I don't know. Change is good, like when it makes sense. Right now, it makes sense to change. Like, we need to get out of this shithole. So anybody that's fighting that is a bad, bad person, okay? And they need to be destroyed because they're standing in the way of us making a positive change. They want to talk about change in regards to liberal bullshit and adding more letters to the freight train of sexual deviance. They want to talk about change when it involves, turning your pocketbook into, you know, a place for moths to hang out. Okay, that isn't that what they do? Like a moth always flies out of an empty wallet. Is that correct? Um, I vaguely remember that, so I added it to my analysis of this country's economic collapse. Okay, but yeah, it's pretty bad that people they just don't care about anything until money gets involved. Just proves what I've been saying. Like, we're a slave to money. Um, it's not that important of a thing. Like, when it comes to your happiness, I think. Because there are just as many miserable rich people as there are poor people. But when it comes to security, obviously, people think that security means happiness. I mean, if you trust God, like, there's security in that. I feel like so many people don't have that. So if, like, adversity and oppression allows you to be closer to God, like, I don't think it's a bad thing. And I know that sounds fucked up, but, like, there's a reason why God's eye is always on the contrite in spirit, and he's always looking out for the afflicted, even if it doesn't seem that way. I think that a lot of people forget that. They just don't know how to accept the fact that, yeah, like, you hear a lot of secular people say this shit where they're like, I can't accept a world, like, where God allows these horrible things to happen. Da da da. It's like they obviously don't understand that. Like they don't understand spiritual things because they look at everything from the victim mentality. So they think, oh, it's not fair that all these bad things happen. God should do something about it. God should do something to stop it. Um, but if part of his plan is not, I mean, this world is shit. Okay, this world is shit because of Satan. This world is shit because of fucking Eve. All right. So like, we have Jesus as this option to turn away from that world. We have Jesus as this option to say, fuck that. I'm going to do right and be ridiculed the entire time. People don't understand like the gravity of the crucifixion, like they don't understand the deeper meaning of that. So it's interesting how many people like aren't Christians but they want to talk about Christianity. I mean, I got to an argument with a friend of mine who's a liberal recently, about this very thing because she just was just saying all this stuff that was like blatantly untrue, and I was like, nope, that's not Christianity. And it's like she wants to act like she knows more than me on it. I'm like, I'm the one that goes to this Orthodox church. I'm not trying to like, wave that around like, oh, look at me, I do this. But it's like, I read the Bible all the time, so it's kind of funny that she's like trying to school me on what Christianity is, but like she knows nothing about it. But when I was a liberal back in the day, I definitely, I know that I make arrogant statements, but I'm not pretending that I know all this shit though, man. Like if I'm ignorant on a subject, I'm not going to pretend that I know a lot on the subject. I just be like, no, I haven't read the Bible, I don't like Christianity, but I've never read the Bible. And this kind of shows you that like they just don't understand it. And they have such a negative sentiment towards it that they don't want to understand why other people do it. They think that they can just jump to conclusions about it and make all kinds of false assumptions and false statements about it, and yet they don't know anything about it. But they still think that they're right. That's such a great life philosophy, man. One of constant avoidance. But, I just feel sorry for her. I had to drop the conversation because I realized that I was, like, getting annoyed. It was becoming obvious that I was annoyed, and I didn't want her to know that I was annoyed. I have a thing about that. If there's anything to take pride in, it's not letting people know your true feelings, okay? Because if I internalize that shit, I can turn that into so many jokes, and there's so much more I can do than just be mad that, like, oh, this person is not smarter, It's like I try to educate people, though, about certain things, but like I said, people don't want to know. If they have a bias towards something, they don't want to know. Because keep in mind, they have all this technology with all this information on it. Like, they could have access to that shit immediately, but they choose not to. So, it's their decision.